well, if are they going to do aggressive tri-lane? I think HOT6 might aggressive tri-lane. They might just safe tri-lane and zone the Spirit Breaker. I think it still is very much about the Spirit Breaker, though. That's the only hero that's going to do something on the Phoenix lineup. Obviously, they have an Earthshaker roam as well, so it's up to the Spirit Breaker and the Earthshaker roam. If those go well, Phoenix can definitely win this game. If the lanes go standard, it should be HOT6 getting a big advantage, I think.
Yeah, this is a really dangerous Ember game, actually. There's tons of physical damage. There's plenty of nukes to deal with you as well. So
yeah, I like this HOT6 draft, honestly. I think they've got a pretty potent lineup here.
Yeah, Ember does fight well in the early game, so I think if he gets the ball rolling, MVP's lineup is pretty squishy in general, and that's where he could start finding solo pickoffs and snowball that way, but it's definitely interesting. And some friendly back and forth. Everyone's saying good luck, have fun, and let's get underway, I guess.
Indeed, let's get on the way. MVP HOT6 versus MVP Phoenix. Who goes to Seattle? We'll find out in this game with Zayori and Baseskip.
All right, KP. He's in the off lane here, and they may find him nice and early on. Forev in the front lines, going to scout things out with the Shikuchi. And we'll just throw a friendly little poke there. Okay, no early skirmish.
Nice move from HOT6, making their way down very aggressively, protecting their safe lane, making sure that nothing's going to get blocked out here, so they'll have full access to their pulls and pulls through. And as we talked about, they've got really good zoning supports, especially with the Drow Aura on both the Witch Doctor and the Lina. This is actually the exact tri-lane that Phoenix had in the previous game, trying to deal with the Broodmother. And we saw that it was pretty successful, but I think this time around should be even better against the Spirit Breaker. And if they zone him out and keep him level 1, once they manage to pick up their level 2, they can just pull and stack and do everything with impunity. And they're running up top lane.
He gets set up. Do they have any kind of reveal here? Oh, he has the refraction level 1. They don't even need it. He will be on the run. Searing Chains come out, and on the other side of it, Febby gets isolated. QO will be the victim of the first blood. It's Forev. That'll finish him off with one stray auto attack, and they might be able to get KP as well. Searing Chains not going to do much to save him here. Beautiful LSA out of Jerax, and Forev will just be able to chase him down. Searing Chains might be able to buy him some time. Best he can hope for is not even a deny, because neutrals haven't spawned yet. 2-0 out of the gate. MVP HOT6, ladies and gentlemen.
2 core kills. And they stole the bounty rune. The number of stuns that Lina has on a 7-second cooldown in the early game is actually just ridiculous.
Radia got both bounties there?
Yep, I think they swiped one out from underneath the...
Quap and Lina.
No, that's very big. And especially for the Templar Assassin, she's going for this bottle rush here on the mid lane. Looks like QO is still going to be able to grab a few CS. He is against MP on the Drow, and it's not a Queen of Pain, so I think it's a slightly easier laning matchup.
Yeah.
But that was definitely not the start that he was hoping for. And so we said...
Ooh, could be in some trouble here. Searing Chains... Blink back, and he will live, but a lot of pressure coming his way as Lina starts to rotate back down.
So it looks like Phoenix were somewhat dodging the aggressive tri-lane. I don't feel like Ember Spirit is a particularly amazing tri-v-tri hero, but lanes are going to end up somewhat weird. We have a tri-lane versus a dual lane, and a dual lane versus a solo mid lane. TA and the Drow probably not going to get involved too early, and that's the other thing to look at when you've got these tri-lanes and these funky laning matchups, whether or not there's some hero that's going to reach an immediate level 6 and then start ganking like a Puck or a Nature's Prophet. But the only hero here really is the Spirit Breaker for March. So
yeah, and they're putting a lot of pressure on that Spirit Breaker. The Witch Doctor up top, just poking him as much as he can with the benefit of that extra damage. And now things level out a little more for Sunby as Jerax has stationed himself down in the bottom lane. And I totally agree with you about the aggro try with Ember Spirit. One of those carries that doesn't really want to share experience if he can avoid it. Level 6 is a key ulti on him just for the mobility to both set up kills and also get out of sticky situations. And that will slow him down a fair bit in this kind of a scenario.
And he is just laying into March here. Normally you think of Spirit Breaker as being ridiculously tanky. He has that extreme EHP at level 1, but Witch Doctor's got pretty ridiculous base damage, and with that little bit of precision or a bonus on top, Forev's going to come running in here, and March might actually be in some trouble.
This could be a kill. He'll have a charge, but I don't think it's going to be enough to survive. Stun on 2, nicely placed. But Shikuchi into the tower. This is an easy one for Forev. He'll be happy to take some tower shots as the Shikuchi damage secures the kill. Nicely played there, and it will make it 3-0 in total hero kills for Rev. He's got all of the kills. Bottom lane, KP takes an LSA to the face. Dragon Slade to follow up. Sunby blinks forward, and the scream not enough for the damage, or not enough for the kill rather. Shallow Grave buys him some time. Sunby in some trouble, wants to get Febby, can't quite get it, but now Lina for the cleanup. Jerax with a triple kill. Oh my good gracious, it's MVP HOT6 coming out big again.
Oh man, Jax, these stuns so far this game have been ridiculous. He lands 3 back-to-back while they're contesting that rune on top lane. Gets the 2 here Light Strike Array there to make sure that the Ember Spirit doesn't just run off.
We'll see
let's see this again in all of its glory, because this was big plays from Jax. He hits all 3 with the nuke. Sunbeat goes committing in. Nice grave comes out of Febby, and they do manage to right-click down the Queen of Pain, but Jax almost hits 3 again. Almost hits all 3 with that stun.
And then this Dragon Slave connects on what would have been all of them. The Dazzle's actually already dead, but
huge play.
Wow. Just incredible damage out of the Lina. And all of a sudden, this support Lina is level 4, tangling with the top and in a great spot. QO loses his clarity to Cardi there. That's a
what is he
hero
doing
siege.
here?
What are you doing, Cardi? Get out of here. Go back to the lane.
He's contesting the rune. He's like, he's seen all of the action. He wants to get involved. HOT6 have
Dude, this card
riled
is
him up.
Really getting aggressive here, just giving some scouting intel. So this is looking rocky for the dire side. Febby gets off a shallow grave, but a bit of a close
tried
call
to
there.
deny him.
He was about to.
He might still have to.
Uh-oh, and yeah, he does. So Sunby goes in, forces out the deny. Now may get punished for it, though. Flame Guard bringing him low, won't have the blink in time. And
okay, that was a bit of a silly blink.
yeah, KP gets the kill there. And well, nice setup with the deny, so it was all bait, I suppose. Dazzle will end up in the grave, but a great trade there. The TA in the mid lane, farming very nicely. High CS score, doing pretty well against the Drow Ranger. But Drow also not really struggling all that much.
Drow is just the damage bot this game, honestly. She's got 3 points up in the precision aura, and she's already invested 2 points into stat. It's not that she's holding these skill points and waiting to use them if she needs a silence or a slow. She is actually just buffing the other lanes and
is that
making
a
Weaver
third Wraithband recipe sitting back in the bank there? No boots, triple Wraithband. Absolutely a damage wagon for the whole team. This is a slightly different way to play her, and I like it here. We'll see up top a bit of a back and forth between Farev and Marge. Farev taking a lot of tower shots. He's not level 6, no way to time lapse it off, but now the swarm comes out. Marge hits him with a stun.
No bash.
Win this duel. Oh, Farev not going to be able to find the kill, but will be able to Shikuchi back. He really wants it. The TP actually gets canceled. There's a rotation coming up here. It is the Dazzle. You need to be a little bit careful. Farev will be forced back, now low on regen.
All right, so that's, what, 2 TPs and 3 heroes now up top lane. And Farev, oh, he's trying to go in here, but it looks like that might be his death, actually. Grave onto March just to make 100% sure that he doesn't go down in the midst of this.
A little greedy there.
Yeah.
Hands it over. That's the end of a killing spree also.
It's Dazzle who ends up getting it. No, so not a core, and I think not necessarily who Phoenix would love to have gotten that kill on, but still, kill's a kill at this stage. And they are a little bit behind here in the early game. At the very least, Templar Assassin does have some really good farm. Mid lane not proving to be too much of an issue. I think Q is actually the CS leader. And yeah, 30 and 12. So at least his TA is doing decently.
Yep, a lot on the back of QO here, as the other lanes are definitely struggling quite a bit. Ember Spirit and Quap actually breaking even in terms of CS, and it was favored for the Queen of Pain, but since that silly little dive that we saw a few minutes ago that cost her her life, things have been a little more rocky. It looks like Phoenix will pull a rotation, though, with KP heading to the top lane. Hold that thought as Sunby down bottom. Stun after stun will bring her to half health, but a blink away will keep the Succubus alive.
Yeah, they really can't find a lane for this Ember Spirit at the moment. Bottom lane, he was getting pressured and daggered, and top lane's no better as MVP come in looking for another kill. Nukes come out, chain stun, and auto attacks, all that it takes. Goodbye, K Phoenix.
This Ember Spirit turning into a bit of a liability here for the dire side. Sunby set up on again in the bottom lane, stunned up and brought down. The fissure into a charge stun is enough to find the kill there. So at least for MVP Phoenix, they are getting kills on the Quap, but now QO stunned in the mid. They've got a Sentry Ward down. Dragon Slave connects after the Gust. QO still alive. We'll try to turn around with the help of the Ember Spirit, and maybe they can make something happen here. This is turning into a roaming Ember Spirit at this point.
Yeah, KP playing this very similarly to how he played the Drow Ranger in the previous game, moving around a lot, trying to get active. I think it suits the Ember a little bit better overall, but like we were saying, he just can't find a home. Almost gets stunned, but might just get right-clicked down anyway. Gusted. And
One more. Bottle sips the bottle. Flame Guard keeps him alive for now. Dazzle on the low ground. They're still in some trouble. It's a 4-on-3. Charge coming into Jerax. March will make it up to the high ground. Maybe they can turn onto Sunby. He'll back up. Another nice gust to break things up a little bit. Forev right in the front lines trying to focus down Febby. Another strike onto Forev. Still no one dead, but it's QO that gets separated from the team. Pops on the refraction. Searing Chains on a couple of creeps. QO will try to TP home, but they've got the damage. Templar Assassin falls, and it will be MVP HOT6 that gets it 1-0 after both teams rotate all 5.
Yeah, that was everyone.
That was five-man mid on both sides of the coin. So HOT6 coming out again.
Yeah, I really like the way that Forev's been playing so far this game. I mean, the plan from the word go was, okay, we've got Precision Aura on this Weaver, and let's just have him put on a ridiculous amount of pressure, and that's all Forev's done. You can see it in his build as well. He's just buying little items so that he can run around, sustain in these fights, and keep things going. We used to see Earn a lot on this kind of a Weaver build, but I think the supports are doing well enough that it'll probably be one of them who picks it up. They definitely want one, especially against the TA now.
A lot of pressure coming onto this Tier 1 tower mid. March cruising on in. Fissure helps set it up. Keen will be the target of choice, so they switch onto MP. LSA connects onto March Laguna, but the tanky cow stays alive. Now the Swarm comes flying through, gives some vision for the Radiant side. Grave will keep March alive, but again, QO gets separated from the team a bit too far forward. Without a refraction, he'll fall. Beautiful Fissure comes out from Nuts, but the follow-up will be here. A lot of sustainability from that Witch Doctor. Earthshaker's already died. March gets the second bash onto Forev. He dies to the tower. That makes it a 1-for-3 overall, and could even be more. Febby in some trouble, but Jerax does not have the mana to throw out the LSA. Try to find a kill. Febby baiting him here under the tower with all the creeps, hoping for a lot of damage on that Shadow Wave. Won't find it, and MP will get the kill on the tower.
And Templar Assassin losing out a lot there. Dazzle, once again, the big winner for MVP Phoenix, but I don't feel like farm on him is really going to turn things around too much.
No.
Jerax is huge, and the net worth is actually looking really, really scary for MVP Phoenix.
That's the support Lina, mind you, who's now out farming the safe lane farmer who is the Queen of Pain.
Well, he's 4-0-5, especially with that triple kill.
So that'll do it.
We know exactly why Jerax is where that he is, but have to commend him on some fantastic play on the Lina thus far. And we haven't even really pointed out, but there's very little setup for the Light Strike array either. There's kind of a paralyzing cast, which can be somewhat unreliable in a lot of situations, but he's just been straight dropping stuns on people's heads this entire game long. Yep. Charge coming bottom lane.
They really want Sumpy. He will blink back into the tower. Doesn't disjoint the stun, but can at least pull March deep into enemy territory and see how quickly he is to cancel the charge, or how quick he is rather to cancel the charge and head back to safety. Heen rotating through, will bump right into QO, but there is some support for the Radiant nearby. He'll just try to TP out after throwing the cask. Will connect onto QO. He'll live. Now the rest of the team will get here. Charge in onto March. Will get canceled once more. Sunby does have a Sonic Wave. May consider having a go, but there are 4 heroes of MVP Phoenix lingering around.
Yeah, this is scary though. This is the one situation where their Ember Spirit hasn't actually come down with them to help out, and he's one of their best early game fighting heroes, so I think Phoenix do need to be a little bit careful about taking fights without KP getting involved. But KP, not a whole lot of farm, I think just a casual bracer in his inventory right now, and not a whole lot of survivability, and Drow just picking up more stats, more for the team. Mask of Madness in the inventory, and it's 37 extra damage for the Weaver. He's only got 1 point in the Geminate attack as well, so this Weaver is going to get so scary once he picks up some more levels.
I think he's going straight Desolator here with that first Mistral Hammer. They'll get the last Tier 1 tower. Again, MP gets the last hit on that one. Feeling pretty good. Rushing Desolator on Weaver is very potent on this patch. The item was buffed, and now you can get it at this great timing. You look at the Dire side, and none of them really have high armor right now, and he will do an extreme amount of damage.
March is charging in here. The Earthshaker is over the tree line, but no one else nearby to do anything. I think just maintaining vision on the Weaver as best he can. Earthshaker having a really tough time this game, and I don't know how they're going to be able to catch him up as HOT6 just keep on marching forward and knocking down buildings.
Yep. Solo kill on the Earthshaker from Forev in the mid lane. March will charge through, but same story, different chapter. Can't really do much. A TP rotation from KP, but Rev making so much space for his team on just the solo Weaver. They don't really have any tools to deal with him effectively. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, they're continuing to push into this tier 2 tower. QO nearby will get hit by a paralyzing cask. No bounces, but will help repel him as this tower taking a lot of damage.
Yeah, I feel like this series has been the story of crucial last picks from both sides. In Game 1, it was the Slark for QO that HOT6 didn't really have any answers to. In Game 2, somewhat it was the early Broodmother, but I think the Phantom Assassin pick was also perfect for HOT6. And here, this Weaver is completely unanswered by the Phoenix side, but fight breaking out.
Here we go, charge into the backline on MP, but a beautiful gust to stop it. Deathward doing some good damage here. Heen in a great position. This dire team is just getting cleaned up. KP, Nuts will be the one to grab the shallow grave, but to no avail. Fast 4 for Nil, Febby on the run, and they'll be happy to dive this tier 3 tower. For Rev wants it. He is hungry. And how far is he going to go here? All right, past the tier 4. Febby getting close to the well, and it's full 5-man wipe. That's a 5 for Nil. Desolator comes out, and this could end up being a quick game number 3 here, Base Kip, as HOT6 have so much momentum.
5-0 them, take the Desolator from the enemy well. You know, just 4 getting completely out of control here. Nuts is going to come wandering in, but all he can really do is hide over in the fog. And Phoenix, they can't wait. If they're going to find any kills, it has to be soon. They do cancel the TP. Time-lapse not going to come out, and 4 actually just going to fall here.
He gets the double bash, and MP as well. So they will throw away a couple of unnecessary deaths. They could have backed up a little bit further. They get a pretty big gain out of it, but all things considered, it's going to take a lot more than that. You look at the net worth chart there on the left side, and it is MVP HOT6 all over the top. And even the Witch Doctor is kind of in the middle of the pack, still looking good. We're 15 minutes in. That is a massive lead, up about 10k.
And Phoenix, after those 2 kills, they're going to try and head in to take Roshan here.
This is risky business, but I think at this point you've got to take some risks if you want to have a chance at winning this game. They will rotate over.
The Sonic Wave, is it up just yet? No, still 40 seconds. Okay. But they've still got plenty of nuke damage to throw in here.
They're committed. They've got to hop in sooner rather than later. There is an Echo Slam on the side of Phoenix. They will hand over the Roche. Templar Assassin gets the Aegis. HOT6 now maybe forced into a fight as Jerax gets stunned. Deathward on the backside doing good damage to QO. The cask buying Jerax a little bit of time, but will still go down in the end. It's the end of his unstoppable streak, which will get credited to the Spirit Breaker. Now Phoenix on the back foot will make it to the high ground. HOT6 will not pursue.
4 actually respawned and then time-lapsed back to where he died on bottom lane so that he could run in from the north side of the fight. It was a little bit of an interesting play. I don't think it got him there probably a tiny bit faster, though it did split the fight up somewhat from HOT6, but they only end up losing the Lina. She did have a pretty ridiculous streak going before that, so that's quite a bit of gold actually going the way of Phoenix.
Yeah, the Spirit Breaker.
Yeah, and they take a few gambles, but they're starting to pay off here. It's what they need to stay in this game, honestly. We saw just before how far behind they are.
Surprise, surprise. Handamitis on the Phoenix offlaner will be on the Spirit Breaker. We've seen March do this 3 out of 3 times now in this series, as we talked about. A little more synergistic on the Spirit Breaker. More attack speed means potentially more bashes. So a recovery mechanic that is much needed. He just did end up on the TA, and she did walk away with it.
Yeah, did manage to hold on to it. The Death Ward almost popped it there, but was just able to get away with the phase boots. KP on mid lane, taking some damage.
Very far forward, has a Fire Remnant to jump to, and he will be able to make it back. Dagger chases him down, though.
Phoenix at least in a position to threaten a building here as HOT6 just group up once again.
And with the Desolator.
Keep the 5-man going. Yeah, it's just so easy. They just shred towers so quickly.
Yeah. No easy way to stop this one. They'll just let it fall. MP once more getting the kill on the tower. He's gotten so much gold just from tower kills alone. Feels like he's gotten the last hit on nearly every single tower they've taken out. Support Lina with a 17-minute Yule Scepter. Pretty good timing there as QO tries to split push in the top lane. Maybe able to claim that tower. But HOT6, they look like they want to try high ground. Even with the Aegis on TA, they're feeling confident. This time they will have the Sonic Wave available, though.
This is 2-3. Only a couple of auto attacks from Deaths already being brought down and should be able to take up residence here on the high ground. Needs to be a little bit careful though. Kyo's running in.
MP getting low. He'll get to the back line. Charge comes through, hits him once. But now they isolate the Spirit Breaker. There's your Sonic Wave. It'll finish off the Dazzle straight away. They lose the Drow Ranger thanks to March. KP comes flying on in. QO went down but came back to life. This Death Ward from Heen doing huge damage, channeling it nearly full duration. All things considered, a pretty good fight for the Dire side. A buyback used now by the Earthshaker. Not to help break things up a little bit, but Forev will continue to press forward. With this tower down, his life gets a lot easier. Going for the sure damage on the ranged barracks with the Desolator, but will back out, respecting the power of the TA. And I think MVP HOT6 should just try and reset and save this for another day. Heen gets isolated by the Fissure. It'll go down. Compliments of the Templar Assassin and a Sleight of Fist. Can they find more here? Yules out onto KP. Some heroes responding on the Dire side. Jerax getting in very aggressive. No way he'll survive this one. Once nuts, but Shallow Grave not going to make that a reality.
I mean, HOT6 committed a lot there, but the tier 3 was pretty much already dead, so it's just some damage on the ranged barracks. End of the day, but
there was a buyback on the Earthshaker. That's the only other
he's
thing
never going to
really
have a blink.
Out of that.
At least not going to have a blink for a very long time this game, but biggest play that Phoenix managed to pull off there was focusing down the Drow right at the very start and disabling the bonus damage as much as they could so that the Weaver didn't just totally shred them. Kyo's just gone for a first item Desolator here, so decent for farm. If they can look towards some Oroshans later on, that's definitely going to speed things up there as well.
Oh, that's a full Aghanims on Queen of Pain now completed. That is huge. HOT6 have been skirmishing quite a bit, and now they'll have that super short cooldown, and we've actually seen that be a problem with the Sonic Wave not being available, so... Desolator, first item on TA after the boots for QO. I don't know that that's the build he wanted to go for, but at this stage, just going for anything that can give them a little edge, and now he has that burst damage. If they catch the Queen of Pain or the Drow Ranger, might be able to find a quick pick.
Yeah, and HOT6's lineup is very squishy in general, so the Desolator is going to make Kyo put in a lot of work, and I wonder if he's going to try and go BKB as the next item, or if he will just stick to sort of what I've seen his typical build be, which is the Blink Dagger immediately afterwards. I think there's definitely value in the Blink. If you get the charge going on the Drow, you're going to see her, you can go blinking in 1 or 2 shots to bring her down, and then that's a lot of damage removed from the HOT6 side.
Similar with the Queen of Pain, even though she can blink back and pull the Spirit Breaker into kind of an awkward position at times, that gives you a gap closer to do some follow-up damage. So certainly agree on that one. BKB comes out for Forev's Weaver. Solid item pickup there. Gives him finally some survivability after going kind of glass cannon.
Yeah, interestingly, they don't have a whole lot in terms of sustaining through these team fights. There's a little bit of Voodoo Restoration, but everybody's so squishy that they don't have the health pool for it to really matter too much, and no mech or anything to speak of. So they just have to try and stay on the front foot as much as they possibly can, because if they fall behind, that's where the Phoenix lockdown is going to give them. It's going to give them trouble. But they're just going to come bash their heads against this bottom lane once again. Double damage on the Queen of Pain, making pretty quick work of the range Drax. MP in a forward position.
Yeah, they force out the glyph straight away. Sonic Wave, a bit lackluster, hits the refraction on QO. Laguna comes out, as does the Echo Slam. Still everyone alive, but the Earthshaker will go down first. Again, Death Ward as well as Cask doing a lot of work here. Instant buyback from the Spirit Breaker. Right now it is a 5v4 on the field. The Earthshaker will not have buyback available. That'll be the end of this bottom lane of barracks, and now MVP HOT6 should just look to make their exodus from the base, which indeed they will. They'll rotate straight towards the mid lane. They know the Earthshaker cooldown is still on buyback. They may use this knowledge to their advantage.
HOT6 disengaged in that fight really nicely. For knowing that he had the BKB for safety, just stayed on the front lines and made sure that no one on Phoenix could actually leave the base, and they kited backwards with the Drow Ranger and made sure that she got out of harm's way. Forever is going to get dusted here.
He does have a time lapse though, so this should be no problem. Yep, we will continue to press through, but he can Shikuchi away, and no problemo here for the Weaver.
And the line is drawn from Jerax all the way down the mid lane. He's like, yep, this is the game plan, team. And I don't think there was any doubt about that whatsoever here for HOT6.
But there's the blink on the TA. Good call on that one. see if it will be the difference maker as they siege the mid lane. Sunbee taking a little bit of damage as he blinks forward, but he's got the follow-up there. They want to try to catch one on the retreat. Febby trying to head towards the base. Fissure does connect on one. There's the blink forward from the TA. But now the setup from the Yules. LSA on point. That'll be the end of the refraction. And oh my gosh, the TA gets blown up by the Sonic Wave. Grave onto KP. Barely keeps him alive. He'll just TP back to the well once he gets into fog. But now, TA lacking a buyback. This should be a pretty easy siege for MVP HOT6.
And just look at that tier 3 tower drop. It's no problem whatsoever. KP doing his best to spam a little bit to slow things down. But Jerax with these Yules into the stuns is just setting up everything for his team right now.
Well, buyback from the Ember Spirit. March goes charging in, but gets silenced straight away. Death Ward for good measure will finish him off. Things looking very grim for MVP Phoenix as HOT6 continue to dominate their way through the Dire base. Mid lane of Barracks down. 2 stuck in the grave on the Dire side. Febby will grave himself. That keeps him alive. They want to go for the top lane of Barracks, but hey, there's a tower still standing. So they'll go for the tier 2, and I reckon they'll just continue sieging. Seems like there's little that Phoenix can do to stop this onslaught.
Yeah, no reason to go anywhere. They've still got some earn charges remaining on the Witch Doctor as well, and plenty of mana so they can top their heroes off and keep on going. I don't know what Phoenix can do, what kind of initiation that they could look for. They might be able to try and smoke around from the side, something like that, but they're already down 2 lanes of racks against this Drow Weaver strat, and so even if they start pulling things back, I think the Weaver can just split push them to death. Almost by himself from this point forward.
Yeah. Heen showing nuts that he's not the only one that plays a mean Witch Doctor here. 1-1-16 this go around. Feels like pretty much every Death Ward this game has done a pretty considerable amount of damage.
Yeah, and the hero turned out to be extremely valuable this game as well, especially against the Templar Assassin and the Ember Spirit. And the other thing is that it draws a bit of fire from some of the limited stuns that Phoenix have. Now, often when you talk about heroes like Crystal Maiden and Warlock and whatnot, where you've got these long channeling abilities, in some limited circumstances, it's worth it to even just throw out the spell just so that you draw the Fissure away from, say, the Weaver, for example, and then he just does whatever he wants in these fights. Though I don't think Far's been having too many troubles running around in circles and
Solar Crest.
right-clicking Phoenix.
Yeah, Jerax will get a nice pickup there, and now a Crystallis onto Forev on the Weaver. Some more big damage items coming out here, base Kip.
I think with the Solar Crest, Forev can probably kill KP in one round, in one click, and then the Geminid attack rocks coming out as well.
Well, charge, another bash, now another strike, another double bash onto Sunbee, still not enough to finish him off. Searing Chains won't connect there, gets off the Sonic Wave, blinks back to safety. Echo Slam will secure the kill onto the Witch Doctor, though they didn't have to pay with their Dazzle. MP on the back foot. They'll continue to chase him down, and the Dro will fall, but takes the Ember Spirit with her. Jerax taking some huge burst damage here, alive on just a sliver of HP. But can they find him? Vision becoming a problem here as he's juking, he's jiving. Yule Scepter will stop the charge. Jerax creating a lot of space, somehow still alive, but finally that one last auto attack will bring him down. Now the Weaver comes in to clean house. QO with the meld. Looks like they are lacking detection at the moment. A surprisingly good fight from MVP Phoenix, but creeps pushing into the base as their effigies are being destroyed. Yeah. Oh, they've already lost the tier 4 tower, it looks like. Oh, never mind. That was.
No, it's still
nope,
there.
It's still there. My bad.
Alright. Traders hit seems to be somewhat careful, but they found QO.
And QO is donezo.
Yeah. So just on the edge of that sentry ward there.
Yeah, unlucky, but Roche is up, and MVP HOT6 should be able to take it here. Drow as well as Lina coming up in just a couple of seconds. Buyback from QO. They're running out of resources here, but MVP Phoenix realizing that an Aegis will make this almost impossible in terms of making a comeback, and they will certainly contest the big boy.
Yeah, the Dire don't actually have any vision outside of a trap in the pit, but they're just going to go in and try and take this anyway. This looks like the same play as in the previous game where they're like, okay, look,
we need to take a risk.
If we can't take the Roshan, then we've probably already lost the game. So Kyo's going to keep on working on it.
Oh, silence onto Febby. He won't be able to get off the shallow grave. Now Dazzle's dead without a buyback. This could be bad news bears for the Dire side. BKB's popped to plenty. March with his on line. Not going to be enough to save QO, though. The Sonic Wave doing huge damage. GG is called as MVP Phoenix get wiped up in the Roche pit. It will be MVP HOT6 that secure themselves a slot in the grand finals and that trip to Seattle.
I love that little bit at the end. We'll get you tomorrow. So both teams still in pretty good spirits after that series, but how can they not be, right? I'm sure they're pretty good friends and just happy that they're here in the finals, among the final 4 teams. But
the upper bracket, so no one's eliminated yet. Phoenix will have to fight their way through the lower bracket, but they still have a chance, and that's what's really important here. But we'll welcome our panel back to talk about this series, Purge and Shiver. Action-packed. Game 3, though, probably the most one-sided of them all.
Very much so, and very short as well. And I think when Jarek's got the triple kill early on, like minute 3.5 or so, I think around that time we already knew, like, okay, this is going pretty good for HOT6.
Yeah, that was really mechanically sound how he did that. Normally, if you get in that position, you see the one guy that's graved, and you do everything to run after him to make sure you get the last hit. But he kept auto-attacking. They focused on the second guy instead, and then he had good positioning to get the triple Dragon Slave. And the reason this was so important is if you looked at how the team fights developed in the late game, it was all about the Yules. The Yules did everything.
Every time.
Like and that's one way that we could criticize March. He got Midas on Spirit Breaker. That guy needed a BKB as fast as possible because whenever